good to have you back. We've got a great interview coming up here. Bode Adebayo, and he's probably got an even better background than mine, so he's going to put me under a lot of pressure, I think, with some fundamentals here. So all I know about you is that you've been trading over a decade, and you've got a bit of a finance background. Let's go back to the beginning. How did you get into trading?
So I think my first exposure into knowing what stock market was during my master's program. So I did master's in finance and investment, and I think we had a course about
where did you do that?
University of Greenwich.
Okay.
So we had a course about I think picking the right stocks at the time, and that was where we dug into the fundamentals about price and earning ratio, capitalization, and whatnot.
Yeah.
And after the program, I got online and I saw some guys then. I think if I remember his name then, it was I think Joshante. Yeah, they were trading.
Yeah.
And they were very vocal about it online. And I saw that and I got curious. Yeah, I got hooked, and I opened a trading account with City Index at the time, and that's how my journey started. Trading.
Any disasters there? Because I know what trading with City Index is like.
A lot. There's a lot of sad story in the beginning. I remember loaning about £10,000. Not loaning from my friend then. It was his money, but I convinced him because I was the finance guru.
I'm a whiz. I'm a guru.
Yeah, I'm a guru. I know how to pick this stock. I know how to do this. Can't go wrong.
And 2014, that's kind of Euro crisis time, isn't it?
Exactly. So we're gonna be big. These guys are doing it. We can. We can set up our own stuff as well. And I remember putting like £10,000, and everything just went
nightmare. How did you feel after that?
He put me off trading for another like 3 months or so.
Yeah, that's not happening again.
Yeah, but then I kept coming back. Then it's been back and forth.
So back then, what were you trading, and did you have a strategy?
Back then, it was just support and resistance.
Right.
Yeah, support and resistance back then, which was a bit convincing because you can see it happen on the charts quite a lot. So
yeah, well, it's there, isn't it? By definition.
Why can't I just get it right? So yeah, that was.
Yeah, your resistance becoming someone else's support.
someone else's support. I became the liquidity basically a lot. Yeah.
Which is unfortunately a journey most of us have, and trading in that environment. This is why, the demo money account idea came to fruition, because it's just too much stress for the professional. Never mind the amateur to be so geared up and leveraged. It's I think this is. I mean, you tell me. How did you find prop firms and people like ACG?
Prop firms I found prop firms at a later stage, I would say, after because I was working, during these years. I was working for investment banks as well.
Who did you work for?
My last role was with Bank of America.
Okay.
And we, combining that and trading as well. So sometimes I put some money in my trading account.
It's hard, and as well, did you have? I remember UBS is such onerous trading rules, and when you can and how long you got to hold for. And
yeah, but I wasn't trading for Bank of America.
Okay.
So I was doing something else, in the finance space as well.
So yeah, you were free from the front office traders nightmare. You weren't allowed to do anything.
I was working with them closely, but I was in.
Well, you should have been in a sweet spot.
Exactly. So I was doing my trading at the side, but it was so demanding at some point that I would leave trading for like 3-4 months, and sometimes when I make some money, I take everything off, pay myself, and I wasn't very focused on it. Then when I found about prop firms, the idea was so great to say, what, I can actually leverage on the capital.
It's an incredible opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, keep doing what I've been doing basically.
And how did that start up? Did you have a more positive situation?
Yeah, so the emotion kicked in. I've got $100,000, just like that, and that I blew so many accounts based on that emotion of thinking, I have $100,000 now, which is really not my money, but that's the
the
first.
gearing,
That's the first
the
impression
leverage
you get.
opportunity.
Yeah, the leverage opportunity is the first, especially coming from where you've been trading your own money and having been, this leverage opportunity. The emotion would kick in and it starts affecting your trading. Until you get level-headed and kind of get used to it, then you can start probably trading.
And how long did it take you to get to that light bulb moment?
Yeah, I'd say 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been trading in the prop firm environment?
In the prop firm, I think 1.5 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been with ACG?
About going to a year.
So what products and what strategies do you actually look at then?
So I trade NASDAQ.
Oh, right, okay.
At the
Risky.
minute. So my strategy is quite simple. Try to compare NASDAQ with S&P. What I do is I do my analysis on both markets and try to. So when I'm seeing a bit of divergence, that's seen as a reversal, and I do my analysis on NASDAQ, do it on S&P as well, and trying to find like a zone where both of them would cross at the same time.
Okay.
And that shows it's a real move. And then I go with the direction, basically.
Okay. And how's that working out in terms of win rates and?
Yeah, win rates. For me, I think it's not about winning or losing. I've gotten to that point now. It's because I trade full time now.
Okay.
So it's more like it's a psychology for me now. There's going to be win days, there's going to be losing days, but eventually the probability is in my favor, basically, because I've got an edge.
Yeah, this is, and any beginners out there watching this is the fundamental, isn't it, of where to get to. Just the loss is hurting in the initial. You just got to get over it. That is part of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, but it takes.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's something they have to go through. And it's something they have to get used to.
There's no shortcut around it, is there?
There's no shortcut.
Because, even though you don't look at it in terms of win rates, you know that by definition there's winning and losing. It's part of the process, isn't it?
Exactly, because if you get stuck on, I've got 70% win rate, depending on the market conditions, like the next month might not give you 70%.
No, I mean, look, I don't know how you've been trading since Trump came in, and since the new
Especially
year.
the futures market has been really, we've been ranging for.
Been ranging, but the intraday candle ranges have been twice what they were last year, and last year was wild enough.
Yes.
It's very difficult, and if you're staking at the wrong level, you're just getting wiped out.
You get wiped out. That's true. So it's the psychology game. The psychology game. Yeah.
And this is what a lot of people come around to, and they can totally own the strategy and process, but then can't get through the psychology side.
Yeah, because they're still looking for the Holy Grail. I did that for many years,
And what you think they're looking for? The big wins and.
There's the strategy that works all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's the difficult thing is to see. A strategy gave me money now.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work the next minute. Like.
It's like, to me, it's
difficult to swallow because
it's like the analogy of tossing a coin. It could go 10 times the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Just the conditions might be against you in your strategy. That is a 50-50 win rate.
Exactly.
And obviously, if you're doing it properly, you're going to have the kind of risk to reward ratio that pays you.
Yeah.
And what you like on stop losses? Was that a disaster in the early days? Given that you went through your 10K very quickly.
Exactly. So coming from the background of, so I've always been like a perfectionist. I always like, which is the opposite of the personality you need to have as a trader. There's nothing like being perfect in this game. You need to have a probability mindset.
Yeah.
Basically, and that's what works in this game. So it took me I struggled with accepting losses. So I went through the hurdle of not using stop losses to using stop losses to moving stop losses. I did all that.
I think that's going to be on everybody's journey.
So I did all of that. But then what makes a trader is being a good loser. So once you get to that stage,
it's a really good analogy.
Yeah. So once you get to that stage, you start. And I started applying that to even my personal life as well, to say, it's not every day I'm going to have a good day, aside trading.
We were just talking to Dowie about that, and she said trading has taught her so much about herself and real life.
Real life, yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. Even the things you want to achieve in your life as well.
Because you have to accept the discipline eventually, and that you've got to do the thing that works most often.
Exactly.
And that's how you progress.
That's how
in
you
anything.
progress.
Yeah.
And trading changes you. You don't change the market. You don't change trading.
No, and I've been around so many years, and everything is a pattern. And it's a case of, like you say, accept it. Don't fight it, because it will change again at some point. It changes in your favour as long as you put the work in, you get a strategy, and you trust the numbers.
Trust the numbers.
Trust the numbers.
That's my name.
It's funny. I went over an old trading book on a flight. I forgot what it was called, but they were talking about literally the brain chemicals and stuff, and people who, it's a borderline between recklessness but rationality, and that there's something that switches off in the brain that just literally looks at it in terms of the pure black and white numbers, and that once you get to that, which is why some people that would be deemed as dangerous criminals would often have the right mindset to be a trader, apparently. It's because they literally will just go systematic.
Yeah. You've got to be able to get hit in the face over and over again and be able to come back.
Yeah.
And to get to the level where you actually accept loss as part of the game.
Hugely. We try and dress it up in nice ways, but it's hard yards, but you've got to learn from your mistakes, haven't you? It's educational.
And that's how you build an edge.
Yeah.
Is from accepting the losses as well. And that's how you build the win rate, It's just going over those mistakes and seeing.
Yeah, just getting to that point where that I know that's going to lose, but it's part of the process.
It's part of the process.
Not fiddling around with it. It's kind of...
Yes. And most of the time, the edge is the edge. But most of the time, it's our emotions, ourselves, that will bring it into the charts as well. So
yeah,
that's where discipline
confirmation bias comes in, and this has got to work. No, it hasn't. It's like,
exactly.
And I do a lot of fundamental and technical analysis combinations, and I was saying earlier, it's difficult trying to teach everyone and say everything that's going on, because I'm trying to tell you what the downsides are and what the alternative is. And my way of looking at markets is waves, and that always does give you an alternative.
Yes.
And at times you've got to recognise that that's going to put you off a trade, but if that means that you are by definition deselecting options, you're going to end up systematically over time with the right option.
Yes.
But you've got to stick with the process. It's sort of fiddling around with it is...
And that's the difficult part of it, sticking to the process and sticking to what
it's not really human nature, is it? That's what people got to realise.
And what I've noticed quite recently is the human brain is not wired to be a trader.
Absolutely.
The human brain is not wired to be a trader. So you've got to develop...
So you've got to teach the brain, haven't you?
Teach the brain. It takes discipline. It takes mental energy. Yeah.
Yeah, and that can become frustrating, because that often means you're on a losing run, dealing with it, processing it, but it's for the greater good.
Yeah, it's for the greater good. So I think traders are one of the best people on the planet. If you ask me.
I think once you get there, I've always said this, it's kind of like you become separated and you actually get frustrated at real life situations, and when people evaluate it and then they don't turn up for something, it's like, you just can't do that. It's like, you're in that trade.
Exactly.
You've got to do the work.
You've got to do the work, yeah. When you make the decision, you stick to it.
Absolutely.
It changes you, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And this is things that people don't focus on. If there's too much noise around the lifestyle that is all this jazzy and glitzy, but it's actually, a lot of the benefits are personal, aren't they? Yeah.
Yes.
It's not all about the money. All about me. But on that note, how are you getting on now then? You're in this better zone. Are you being really successful?
Yeah, it's been very green weeks. So we thank God for that. And
it's what, sorry?
Green weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, so we thank God for that. So moving forward, hoping to build on that.
What is your plan then?
My plan would be to do more of what I've been doing, and hopefully share that with people. Like I wouldn't want anyone to go through what I've been through in trading, in terms of how long it took me to get here.
Yeah.
So
no, I hear that from quite a few people, but don't worry, you're on the lines with a lot of the successful people we've spoken to over the years. It's literally, you go through that grinder. It's not. Yeah. It's very rare that someone can turn up and be so successful straight away, and you have to question what's going on there. It is literally, it's like anything else. You've got to learn it. It is a trade.
Yeah.
And it's something that you commit your life to.
So if I can just put a word out there and help someone, just to shorten the process. I think for me that's the end goal. So yeah.
Well, you can. I'd like to see you come onto my Discord chat, and we'll talk about stuff, and then you can get chatting to some other people and build yourself up. It'll be good.
Yeah, sure. I'll be looking forward to that.
So, how have you been getting on in terms of trading in the Trump era? Since the election and since the new year, have you found it difficult? Do you have any views on Trump and Musk?
To be honest, I think the market is the futures market, there's a bit of volatility, but it's a bit confused right now. Like, we're not seeing a move to the up or the downside.
Yeah, I literally said I'm on the hedge, on the fence this week, because it literally is built up either way.
Exactly. So it's very difficult, I would say. The past few weeks, or since Trump's election, it's been very difficult to trade the market. So I would say to review our expectations and not expect too much of the market during this period. I think for the time being. Yeah,
we need some clarity. We're hoping we're going to get that in January, and now we're looking at March, April.
In March, April, exactly.
It's just please.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's hard enough getting people to look at the economic calendar. Now you've got to look at the political one, and then he just decides to go on telly whenever he wants.
Exactly.
So what are you supposed to do about that?
Yeah, but I think it's scalpel, because I think I'm more of a day trader, but most times scalping.
Okay. So how long would you be in a trade for generally?
On average, maybe 10 minutes.
Okay. So in a way, I mean, it's volatility that probably throws opportunities at you, but you've got to be disciplined, haven't you, amongst that?
You've got to discipline as well, because the risk as well, you've got to define your risk as well. So,
have you got a favourite indicator that you use, or?
I don't use indicators.
At all?
No. So I just try to build a context around the chart pattern. I look at the accumulation zones, sweeping liquidity, and try to understand what's happening in the market compared to.
And you said you're looking for breakout, against an average or against each other in terms of Nasdaq versus S&P?
In terms of Nasdaq, I do the analysis I do on Nasdaq, I do on S&P 500. So I mainly look at the accumulation zone, rather, which is part of the chart patterns I look for, and from there I build my analysis. So I've noticed that most of the prices that revolves around a center point in accumulation zone. Sorry, I keep loving my words. And so this is where my analysis is done, basically. So from there, it gives me the indication to buy or sell based on the context I built around them. So it's something I've stayed with.
You've just honed. Yeah.
I've honed, yes. And it's always happening. It's a chart pattern that repeats itself every time. So, and that's something they can't hide.
In terms of, you came through finance background, so you knew the industry. Were there any characters in it or any traders or economists or anyone that inspired you to get involved?
Yeah, George Soros.
George Soros?
Yeah.
Oh. Ruined the pound.
Yeah, George Soros, yeah.
Had to live through that.
Yeah.
What do you like about him?
I just like that he had the foresight to know what's going to happen against all odds and make the tough call. Yeah,
he was one of the very early pioneers at being vocal about the strategy, but he believed it and stuck to it. And,
exactly. So that's been my one of the first people that inspired me to get into trading.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Is there? I know you've said you'd like to inspire people to not go on the journey you've been on. Is there anything else that you want to put on tape today in terms of the way your journey's been?
I tell people as well, I think everything makes money in the market. So to not hop from one strategy to the other, to stick to one strategy and try to put their personality and everything they have into that strategy, because that's what makes a strategy.
Yeah, I think it's a very noisy environment, isn't it? You hear lots of tales from everyone else telling you what's good and what's bad, and I always say, think of it, as you just alluded to, everybody's view is out there.
Exactly.
Everyone's strategy is out there. By definition, they're all talking about it. It's finding which one is predominant at any one time, and then how does your view of it fit?
Exactly.
And it's got to be you, because if you can't trust it yourself, why would anyone else?
And that's the thing, is the confidence behind it as well, because the market is very noisy, and you can have a plan to trade a strategy and get there and do something different. But once the strategy is part of you, it becomes
then you start to react.
It's like a flow.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be something you put into it. So it's not like picking someone else's strategy and wanting to trade that won't work long time.
No.
So.
What about your family, friends? Do they trade? Have you got a peer group, or are you all on your own?
No, the lonely.
It is lonely.
Yeah, the lonely word. Yeah.
So I've often found it's nice if you can have someone just to sound your ideas off. It's very difficult to be a pioneer all on your own.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's one thing I want to do as well. Build a community where I can share ideas with traders.
Because how do you react when you're in a bad run? Because that's where the psychology comes in, and you start questioning everything. It's like, how do you keep that discipline?
It's understanding that it's a probability game, and
you've really cracked that, haven't you?
It's having that mindset that in the long run I'll be profitable. It's because if you've stayed with an edge for a long time, then there's always going to be winners. And I don't really put more focus on risk management. I put on your mindset, because you can manage your risk properly now, and the next trade decide not to.
Yeah.
But it's your mindset that would control. And
are there any particular books out there that you'd recommend to people, or is there a George Soros book out there?
Trading in the Zone is one book that can help people with their psychology, and Trading in the Zone and A Disciplined Trader. Yeah, those two.
Trying to understand as much fundamentals, technicals, and psychology. That's the kind of holy trinity, isn't it?
Yes.
And not getting hung up on any one of them at any one time.
Yes.
Brilliant. And how are you getting on profitability-wise at ACG? Are you on a great run, or?
Yes, I would say we're good.
You've been very coy. I'm trying to sneak information out of these for a game later. I've got to guess the most profitable trader, and you're just looking too confident.
We'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, everyone. It's good to hear someone that's been not necessarily good that you went through the ringer to start with, but that it brought you out and created this discipline, which is so important in the trading world, and that you just got to get to that stage where you trust the numbers and trust yourself. I think that's the key message.
That's the key message. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's wonderful. Bode, been a real pleasure to speak to you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.